Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. Next up for you today we're going to be taking a look at some more figures from the Vintage Collection, Wave 4. The next figure I'm going to give you a look at is probably the least exciting figure from this wave, but it's still a pretty cool one nonetheless. And it's this one here. This is Padme Amidala in her peasant disguise. As I said, not particularly one of the most exciting choices for a figure, but if you're one of those collectors who has to have every variation of Padme Amidala in existence, then this is definitely one to add to your collection. Hasbro have still given us pretty good value for money with this figure by including some extra accessories, and I'll get onto those in just a moment. But first up, as always, we're going to take a look at the packaging that Padme comes in. On the front of the card there you've got an image of Padme in her peasant disguise, as seen in episode 2. And then you've got the Attack of the Clones logo on the top of the card. On the back, since this figure is a first time release, rather than the original version of this figure being pictured on the back, you've got a still image from Attack of the Clones, as well as the Vintage Collection description at the side, and the rest of the figures pictured along the bottom. So, pretty cool packaging. Not entirely, once again, the most exciting card back from the Vintage Collection, but it's still, you know, it's mediocre, I guess. I'm not a massive fan of Padme, so you know, this figure is just a bit meh to me, but it's still cool, and it makes a good addition to the Attack of the Clones display. So anyway, on to the figure. As I was saying before, Hasbro have still tried to give us good value for money with this figure. They've included a couple of extra accessories that weren't really needed. Obviously the first one is the blaster pistol that she's seen holding there, and the second is a swap out headdress. Obviously the front of the packaging and the back of the packaging depict Padme wearing two different headsets, or headdresses, as you can see. And both of these headdresses have been included. There's the first one, and you can just simply remove that from the head and replace it with this slightly weird looking one. Not entirely sure which way that's supposed to go on. Not sure on that one. I think it's that way, but I could be mistaken. It could be the other way around. But it looks a little bit goofy in my opinion. Very nicely detailed though, as you can see, but it just looks a little bit silly in my opinion. I'm not really keen on that headdress, so I tend to display this one with the other headdress in place. That just looks a little bit more normal. There's not a ton of articulation in this figure. She's kind of a hark back to the original episode 1 figures in terms of from the waist down. She's more like a statue from the torso downwards. But in terms of overall articulation, she does indeed have a ball jointed neck, although the movement in that is slightly limited due to the headdress. So she does have a ball jointed neck, ball hinged shoulders and elbows, swivel forearms and a swivel waist. There's no articulation in the hips, the knees or the ankles, and as I said, from the waist down she's pretty much just a plastic statue, as she's, you know, this part of her gown is made of plastic, and the legs are just sculpted inside that, and they don't move at all. So not particularly bad in my opinion. I actually quite like that, as it means that she's not liable to fall over and the soft goods don't get in the way. So I'm not going to complain about it too much, but I'm sure there are going to be a couple of collectors out there who would have preferred this figure to be super articulated. And as I said, she does have a few bits of soft goods on her outfit as well. And the lower part of the outfit is very nicely decorated, as you can see, some superb detail in that. So Hasbro have really gone all out to create a very cool looking Padme Amidala figure, although as I said, it's not one of the most exciting choices. So there we go, that is Padme Amidala in her peasant disguise from episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this review and at this figure, and I'll be back to give you a look at Anakin Skywalker in his peasant disguise next, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, until next time, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.